with sticks and a dead pigeon. Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new episode of Cooking with Ant. And for this episode, Luxinda sent me a recipe for a pretty foul sounding food item called unholy sea vomit. I was like, you know what, that sounds absolutely filthy and disgusting and it'll be perfect for this series. But you might be wondering, what is unholy sea vomit? Well, this is it. This green gelatinous looking thing that has fish in it, and I don't think it's going to taste particularly nice. It doesn't look appealing, so I don't really want to make it, but that's what the series is about. To be fair, I've had some quite nice ones recently, so it's about time I try something a bit more questionable. I'll say questionable. So apparently this recipe does come from an actual vintage cookbook, and I have a feeling it's not called unholy sea vomit because who on earth is going to call their recipe vomit? Like, absolutely no one. But this recipe is basically being republished on Facebook and other social media sites with this kind of spin on it being like obviously foul and disgusting. And I tried to find the original of what it was actually called in the original recipe, but I couldn't find it online. All I could find was the unholy sea vomit version. But anyway, the first thing we're going to need is a pack of spinach, and it says frozen, and then you thaw it out and you chop it. I don't understand the point of buying frozen spinach to then defrost it to then cut it when you can buy fresh spinach. I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. Especially if you're gonna need a lot of it. Fair enough, get like a bag of frozen spinach if you just want like a bit at a time. But if you're gonna use an entire bag of spinach, just buy the fresh one.
Calm down.
But we're gonna need this all chopped up. I always find as well with spinach, they don't really sell small bags. They're always absolutely giant, massive bags of spinach. Like, who wants this amount of spinach? Who is gonna eat this amount of spinach in like a few days? Absolutely no one.
Let's just calm down.
Unless obviously you're cooking a recipe. But like for sandwiches and salads and stuff, it's just too much. Make smaller bags, please. Right, I'll get this chopped as fine as I can. Okay, I think that'll do. There's still some chunky bits in, but I think that's going to be the least of our worries. So we're just going to shove this into our bowl. Well, we're off to a very healthy start, so that's nice. And I do like spinach, so, you know, so far so good. The first ingredient doesn't offend us. Right, so the next step, we need to boil some water. And you're going to want 1 1/4 cup, which is about 300 milliliters, I think. Right, while we wait for that water to boil, we'll just prep another 2 ingredients. So it wants a can of oil-packed sardines, and it wants them mashing up, and you don't drain it either, you keep the oil in with it.
Yum!
So I've got some sardines here in sunflower oil. I don't like sardines, I'm just not a fan. And I'm hoping when I open this, they don't have heads on. But I have a feeling sardines have the heads on, don't they? It's just not for me. I don't appreciate it. It's a very smelly fish as well, isn't it? Oh, I don't think it has its heads on, so that doesn't freak us out as much. They still absolutely stink. I just don't like the smell of fish. I don't think it's a nice smell. But I'm just gonna put these in here. I'm trying my best not to gag because they're very smelly. The thing is, I used to have a neighbour and they used to cook a lot of like really smelly fishes, and you would go in the house and the house would absolutely stink of fish.
Come on in, make yourself at home.
Right, I just want to mash this up because we're going to need this too, but I just want to get this done first. I don't know why I chose to do this first. I don't mind like tuna, weirdly enough. Maybe it's because it looks less like a fish. I don't know, I don't get it. Maybe it's more of a mental thing rather than anything else. Right, that's all mashed up. I'm just going to put it to one side. And it also wants egg. So it's like, oh yeah, we'll have fish, which is already like a powerful scent. We'll also have eggs, because they smell like farts. There's just so many smelly foods in this one thing. And like, why do we need all of it together? We don't need it all together. Stop it! But anyway, I hard-boiled a couple of eggs last night. I'm hoping they're actually hard-boiled, because I have a difficult time boiling eggs for some reason. The eggs definitely don't offend us as much as the fish does. The sardines offend me far more. I'm actually now getting used to it. Now that the kind of initial shock has happened, I'm feeling a little bit more relaxed. In you go. And in with these eggs, it wants 3/4 cups of sour cream. Well, I have a 1/4, so maybe it's just 3 1/4s. Does that make sense? I think so. 1, 2, and 3. I tell you, the ingredient I'm surprised is missing from this. It's some sort of cheese. I feel like cheese would have actually balanced it out quite nicely, but there's no cheese to be seen.
Where are you?
And then it wants this mashed together. Is that egg hard-boiled? Ooh, it is. Ooh, that's a good hard-boiled egg. Yeah, check me out. To be fair, I can obviously smell the eggs and and smell the fish. And I'm actually feeling quite hungry.
She's a fat slut.
Is it bad that I'm looking forward to eating this now? I don't know. I don't know what that says about us. This might actually be an okay thing to eat.
It won't.
I don't think it's going to look very appealing. In fact, it's not going to look very appealing. But I don't know whether it's going to be that offensive. Right, so this water's boiled now. And in here, it wants some gelatin. There's 1 envelope plus half a teaspoon of plain gelatin. What I'll do is I'll just add 1 envelope and then a little bit more of another envelope because I don't really understand what it means. Just get that stirred and mixed in. I'm not a lover of gelatin and I don't particularly like the texture of it and the consistency of it. Like gelatinous mess. It also wants a chicken bouillon cube. Now I looked in the supermarket for a chicken bouillon cube, whatever that is, and I could just find chicken stock cubes. I think they're the same thing, I don't know. So I'm gonna add 1 of these into here as well. At least this will give it a nice flavour, some like proper like chickeny flavour. So that's different, isn't it? Yes, this is gonna make a chicken gelatin broth. Yum, yum, yum. It smells nice. It smells very nice. Do chicken and fish go together? I don't feel like they do. I feel like they're very separate things. I'm surprised it didn't want like a fish stock or something. I think that would have made more sense. Okay, that's fully dissolved. We now want our spinach back, and then we're gonna pour this mixture over our spinach. I feel like there's a lot of spinach and not a lot of broth. I'm slightly concerned about this. I feel like I'm making it wrong. Okay, and then we need to add our sardines into the mixture. Still not sure about that, but they're in. Once they're mixed in with something else, it might just, I don't know, I just feel like there's gonna be a lot of different flavors happening. Next, fold in sour cream and chopped hard-boiled eggs.
What does that mean?
Fold it in.
He folds it in.
You know exactly what clip I'm gonna use.
And you...
If you say fold in 1 more time.
It says fold it in!
So fold this in, do we?
What does burning smell like?
Okay. I don't see the point of folding. Why not just mix it in? I feel like folding it in doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't do anything. I'm not gonna lie, it does not look good. Look at the state of that. It looks so green and milky. That's what I can describe it as. The fish smell has kind of disappeared now. It just looks very green. Not a nice green colour. It looks like something you would find in a drain.
Look like a nice boy. I bet you have a lot of friends.
That's what I can describe it as. It looks like drain food. Alright, well that's all done. Add salt and pepper to taste. That's fine with me. I'm gonna add a shitload of pepper. Try and hide as much of the other flavours in there as possible. And a bit of salt. I just want a tiny bit because I'm trying to be healthy. The texture of this is just weird. It's very chunky. I feel like I've made a very chunky version. I think theirs is a little bit more blended than mine. And then we're going to put it into a mould. I tell you what, I'm just going to quickly go grab a bit of oil and just grease this mould, and then we'll slop it into here. And yes, I didn't buy a specific mould for this. I thought I would just use one I already have. Mine's just going to be a rather thick version of the original. I'm going to be very surprised if that sets. I always get worried when I'm using gelatin that I haven't used enough. It filled that mould up quite well though, didn't it? Look at that. I don't want to tilt it because it'll slop everywhere, but it just... no. Just no, thank you. Right, well, that's basically all I need for this. I'm just going to refrigerate it until it's nice and firm, and then we'll come back here and I get the pleasure of shoving it in my mouth.
Yay!
At the minute I'm getting a hint of fish, but a little bit of egg at the same time. They're both kind of fighting for my attention. I'm like, do I want the fish? Do I want the egg? I can't decide. So I've got my unholy sea vomit. I assume it's fully set and ready to demold. Also, it doesn't, oh yeah it does. It smells of fish. I thought it didn't have much of a scent, but it's got an overpowering smell of fish. I can't smell the egg or the spinach or the chicken anymore. It's literally just the fish coming through. Right, let's see if I can get this out. Oh, here we go. Ta-da! Look at the state of that. Proper thick and chunky and green. Can you imagine giving someone this and being like, aye, tuck in. Eat it! And as well with something like this, with the recipe, it didn't say it wanted any salad with it. It didn't want any kind of chips or anything accompanying this. It wanted just this on its own. This is the main event. So if you're at like a nice buffet or a spread, in fact there wouldn't be a buffet or a spread, it would literally just be this on the table. You were greeted with a mound of gelatinous green stuff. And you would think this would be the kind of pinnacle of my day of kind of grossness and whatnot. I've actually just got back from walking the dogs and the walk was going fine, and I looked out the corner of my eye and saw Ava walking past like she does. She's fine off the lead, but she had something in her mouth. What did she have in her mouth? A dead pigeon. So I had to scream at her to get this dead pigeon out of her mouth, and then I had to get some sticks and pick up this dead pigeon, but it was kind of flopping around and everything. Have you ever seen the episode of Family Guy when Peter's trying to get the dead frog out the window and it's just flailing all over the place? That was me, but with sticks and a dead pigeon. In the cold, in the countryside, just wrestling away with this floppy dead pigeon. I just don't think I would be a very good hunter or a very good fisherman or anything, because I just can't stand stuff like that. Anyway, I'm just delaying this. I think it's time to taste test this unholy sea vomit and see what it's like. I honestly, I don't want to put it in my mouth now. It's the texture. It's the texture that's freaking us out. I think we'll just... Oh, that's a lot. It's just so green. If I was around yours and I was feeding you this is what it would look like on the spoon. It smells so fishy. It smells ridiculously fishy. Right, I'm just putting it off. It's fine. Cheers, everyone, to unholy sea vomit. Oh, I'm really like fighting myself with this. Just shut up, Ant. It's literally just, it's a cake. Let's just pretend it's a cake. I even swallowed that. I found it very difficult. Not necessarily because of the flavour. It's more because of the like moussey, very kind of, there's just not a lot to it. It's almost like eating a fishy flavoured yogurt, but like a moussey yogurt. That's what it kind of feels like. It's horrible. The taste isn't there. The texture isn't there. The appearance 100% isn't there. It is a horrible thing to make. I think everyone would have exactly the same opinion that this is rank and that this is disgusting and shouldn't be made. The egg does absolutely nothing. You can't taste the egg. It just tastes like a fishy yogurt. There's still spinach in my mouth. It's very spinachy, but not in a flavour way, because all you can taste is fish. It's just like floaty bits of spinach in your mouth. I'm not taking a second bite. Absolutely not. Sometimes I need a second bite to decide. I've made my mind up. Thank you very much. I think I'd prefer to go outside and play with the dead pigeon with some sticks than go anywhere near this again. But anyway, that just about does it for today's episode of Cooking with Ant. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And thank you very much, Luxinda, for suggesting I try unholy sea vomit. It was unholy sea vomit. It was rank, it's horrible. This recipe was exactly why the series was made, to try out things like this. I forgot really, because the past couple have been quite nice ones, so I haven't had like a proper tough to swallow one in a while. But if you come across any weird or gross recipes you want me to try, so you 100% don't have to, then let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you next week for hopefully a far less fishy video. The worst thing about this is the fact that this thing is in a cookbook somewhere, a vintage cookbook, and I'm sat here and obviously I've made it and tried it and don't think it's very good. It's not even tasty, it's just not nice. But someone had to have sat themselves down and came up with this recipe. That's the worst thing about it. Someone had to think of this. It didn't just randomly come out of thin air. You physically had to put thought and pen to paper and be like, ooh, fish, egg and gelatin. Yum. No, I think you're lying to us. I think some of these vintage recipes were just trolling us. They were just proper trolling us.